Okay, this is the same tray that I use for drilling beads. You've seen it in my videos. If you're going to do a balls, which I developed this when I was doing marbles. I was drawing a ton of marbles for a while. This is just a piece of copper tubing. And what I'll do is I'll remove the black jade backup or whatever it is. You know, heat this up. I just had a pair of tweezers over here. It should work great. Pull that stone out of there. Oop, stick it to your... And then I'll just heat that up a little bit, and then I'll put that copper in there. Try to get some wax around it. And get it close to the center on my screw part. Heat it up a little bit more. And then let it sit. Okay, I'm going to use this piece of weird bent wire to get this tube centered to the drill chuck. Oops, I'm going to have to open it more. Okay. There's other ways I could do this, but I have to have be able to, so see how that's offset? So then I just loosen this up a little bit and move it over, spin it around. It's still offset a little bit, spin it around. Okay, now, bend it out a little bit. Okay, I spun this around because it was not centered, or the screw part wasn't centered. Okay, we're hitting again. I need to go over this way a little. Okay, that's touching. You can hear it. Okay, a little bit more. It's getting pretty close. And you can hold it up above to see if you think it's going off a lot. And this is pretty darn close, you know, because we're just going for trying to get as near dead center on that ball as possible. You can hear it if I shut up. You could hear it rubbing all the way around. Very little. So then you pull that out. You know, now I'm set up for center. Pull it out. And then you just drop your ball. You know, Greg and I looked at this, and pretty much where the black spots are is where we want it drilled to give us the best looking bead. Anyway, you just set your bead in that, and that self-centers it. I mean, that's the end of it. It self-centers. No matter how you put it in there, it's going to self-center, self-center. So let me get a drill set up and then we'll fire back up. You have to let it center itself, the drill. Okay, once it's centered, just the pressure alone holds it in the piece of tubing. And I'm starting out with a smaller drill, and I'll go up, which I've explained in other videos. The main reason I do that is it's easier for these smaller drills to take the center out. So I started out with a 2mm drill, you know, and again, listen how slow my drill's moving. And I'm sure Greg's focused right in on there, and you can see the dust coming out of up top every time I release pressure on it. You know, you don't have to run at 10,000 RPM or 1,000, well, 1,000. This thing's probably going roughly 1,000. You know, on this material, as you saw if you watched me make the ball, it's a lot harder than I would have ever guessed. I might have to put a longer drill in here. Maybe not. Be almost through. See? Okay, now that I have the original hole in there, I went up from, I don't know, maybe 1 1/4. I think I'm at 2 now. I'm going to go ahead and drill this out at 2.5mm. So again, when I first start down through this original hole, I'm going to kind of let the drill center itself before I start really pushing. Put my eyes on, I can see what I'm doing. And you notice how quick that's going through that hole. You can hear those diamonds working. I go more by sound than anything when I'm drilling stone. See, I'm already through. Cool. Cigarette. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and drill this thing out at 2.5mm because I kind of am partial to larger holes. Anyway, to give you an idea of how well centered that is, if I spin that, there's not, you know, there might be a slight bit of wobble. If I was really concerned about perfection on that, I would have lined that copper tube up a different way. But I mean, that's pretty close to dead center. Anyway, I'm going to take a break. Okay, this is the final hole. It's 2.5 millimeters. Should go pretty darn quick. And then we'll take it over and I'll show you a quick way to polish. Oops. Again, you just want to float it into the hole. And again, you can hear on that drill's hardly spinning at all. You know what, I've said it more than a few times in my videos. Diamond's so free cutting, you could literally run this drill at 20 RPM and it's going to drill through. You know, that's what the ancients learned a long time ago when they discovered the toughness of diamond. They started drilling with bow drills and stuff. They started drilling their agate beads and stuff with basically crunched up diamond. There we go. Okay, I always bevel the holes, so if you put your bead on like a cloth cord or a leather cord or whatever, if you don't bevel the holes, they're going to have a tendency to cut into your cord, whatever your cord might be. And this is just a flame tip centered burr, grinding burr. Okay, that easy. Okay, it was that easy. I'll show you the bevel. I think you can probably catch it. And what I might do after I have it polished is round that a little bit. But as long as you have a nice bevel on your hole, the chances of the cord getting cut are almost non-existent. I will break that upper edge just a slight little bit, because if you run your thumb over it, you can feel I'm not going to call it a sharp edge, but a real edge there. So I'll just take a burr by hand and barely break that edge, and that's typically what I'll do for a hole, whether it's on a big bead or a small bead, it doesn't matter.